While a pair of dive watches might have dominated the news cycle this week, quite a few other new watch releases made rippling waves throughout the watch industry, including a new collaborative stone dial watch, which I typically do not go for, a Scandinavian brand dropped its first ever pilot's watch, and pure eroticism from a Dutch small independent brand, which is dropping just this morning. So sit back and relax and give your thumbs a break from scrolling through your news feed as I take 5 stories from the watch industry, break them down, giving them roughly 1 minute, and putting my own weird little tweak on things because this is time well spent. Continuing their commitment to sustainability, Oris has teamed up once again with Billion Oyster Project to drop the Oris Aquis Date New York Harbor Limited Edition 2. The project aims to restore New York Harbor oyster reefs while educating the public on their benefits such as cleaning New York waters up, a monumental task which I can attest to based on the smell alone. Limited to 2,000 pieces, they pledge a portion of the proceeds to building reefs, shell collecting, and educational outreach. Coming with both the rubber strap and bracelet, this Aquis Date built on the 43.5mm case with a steel relief bezel, killer choice by the way, surrounding the turquoise dial crafted with a thin layer of mother of pearl over a resin base to create a unique pattern for each watch. Each case back is individually numbered with an oyster debossed at its center, and I have to say, while I thought this project was a cool concept when they first did the iteration back in 2022 with that pale green dial, this new turquoise dial really speaks to me, and it seems to be doing the same with the watch enthusiast masses out there. Sure, some are still criticizing that $3,000 price point for the SW200-1 movement inside, which I think is still fair, but to get that unique dial with both strap options and a true numbered LE for me still seems very much worth it. The funky design-focused female-founded brand from Glasgow, Paulin, launched its first ever dive watch in the Wind-Up Watch Shop Brooklyn showroom along with brand ambassador Jason Heaton. The Of the Sea Mara leans into the pillars of minimalistic geometric design with a custom typeface, distilling it into a familiar-seeming yet fully technical tool watch package with excellent touch points. The ratcheting 120-click bezel appears slick at first, though offers ample grip. The 39.7mm flat case still sits well on the wrist while achieving an impressive 300 meters of water resistance, and at 13mm thick is still not too stout to slide underneath the cup. And it is all powered by the Le Jouperet G101 with 68 hours of power reserve. It ships with both the fitted rubber and recycled nylon strap backed with luxurious Alcantara. The Mara comes in at $1,650. It's certainly a high price for the brand that typically operates at or below the $1,000 mark, though in my opinion is more than fair as I find myself romantically drawn to the dome sapphire bezel insert and dome sapphire crystal that ripple together as if breaking through surface tension. Although that could easily be my own vain attraction to the reflection looking back at me as I stare down at the relatively lackluster AR coating. In both annoying and confusing news, watch brand Dennison has teamed up with media outlet Time and Tide to launch a limited edition quartz-powered mother of pearl dial dress watch, all of which I should hate, but for some reason I absolutely love this watch. With the same TV form function as their previous iterations, the 37 by 33.5mm cushion case houses the Swiss Ronda quartz caliber 1032. So far, nothing too special, but okay. Then though, they dialed it up to 10 with a marquetry dial and dark mother of pearl, blending hues of blue, purple, and green laid in a herringbone pattern. Oof. It contrasts the light silver tones of the case and hand so well, just inviting your eyes to waltz across its surface. If you do find the strength to flip the watch over, you'll find an illustration on the case back of the Time and Tide London Watch Discovery Studio done by Australian studio manager Alex Hindley. At $995, it's no surprise that it's faced a little bit of backlash for its price, but hear me out, shut up and look at the thing. Availability is a little bit funky as it is a timed online exclusive for 24 hours only, and then we'll have limited availability inside of the Time and Tide Discovery Studios in London, Australia, and inside of the US. Just this morning, Dutch architect turned watch artist Holthinrich dropped the LAB Series 1.24. A run of just 79 pieces, this watch begins with a 3D printed case designed with innovative manufacturing to create quite a fascinating structure. The curve of the lugs and almost raw beauty of the metal surrounds complements the true eroticism occurring on the handmade dial beneath. Dubbed Horology Brute, Holthinrich starts with a pure metal domed dial at its center, layered here with green copper oxide and gold leaf. The effect is this living flake that feels as though it's aging as you stare at it, revealing more of its glistening gold surface hidden beneath. My only slight complaint with this piece is that the underside feels a little bit less finished or a bit more raw than its forward presentation, though at the end of the day it just invites you to flip the watch back over and enjoy the utterly fantastic dial once again. Now this watch is roughly $7,000, and while I do appreciate independence of this price point, I still maintain that I would most likely purchase watches from the likes of Omega, Rolex, and Tudor. However, this watch changes all of that. Norwegian brand Micromilspec launched its first ever pilot's watch. Known to enthusiasts for rugged tool watches trusted by and designed in collaboration with Norwegian and worldwide military units, this Oslo-based brand has traditionally stuck to field and dive watches. Now though, they've commissioned the Pilot's GMT watch watch for the Royal Norwegian Air Force, and also have released a limited edition annual collection of just 75 pieces to the general public. At 42mm in diameter and 12.5 thick, the integrated design holds wrist presence as well as dual time zones, a 24-hour loomed bezel, two-toned loom for better legibility, a date aperture, and a very Scandinavian color scheme by day. Powered by the SW330-2, the matte package boasts a focus on minimalistic design and legibility while still flying a bit under the radar. At roughly $2,000, it is also a pretty good value proposition as long as you like its large and in charge case architecture and over-scrolling text on the left-hand side. As is true every week, there were a lot of things that happened in the industry that I just do not have enough time to cover on this video. Kurono Tokyo launched a brand new vermilion chronograph, which yes, is a bit expensive, incredibly hard to get, powered by a Seiko movement, and you will probably never see one in person, but at least you can drool over these images. Tor over at Hodinkee wrote up a very interesting piece about designer Sohib Magnum, a designer and watch brand CEO doing big things who I actually had a chance to chat with at Wind Up Watch Fair in New York City last year, and I actually chose the Marab as the thing that caught my eye the most at that show. Rolex opened up a brand new boutique up in the Hamptons, but I doubt they'll be in full swing in the off season, aka the only time I can afford to actually go up there. And UK-based micro brand Apier hosted a get-together in Brooklyn to show off their latest Gen 1.0, a watch utilizing 3D printed technology with powdered titanium like the Holthinrich we talked about earlier, but taking a very futuristic approach to manufacturing. We're actually going to be having these watches on display in the Wind Up Watch Shop showroom, so if you're in the Brooklyn area, come in, check out the watches, and say hey and chat for a little bit. I will have links to everything that I just talked about in the description down below, so head down there if you want a deeper dive on any of those topics. Coming up next week, I have quite a few more interesting things that I want to talk to you about, including 2 watches that I've had hands-on with recently that I just can't talk to you about quite yet. If you want any of those things in real time, be sure to follow me on Instagram, because as those embargoes lift, I'll be posting them on Instagram, and I'll be sure to chat with you guys out there. I'll also be taking you behind the scenes of some of the industry events, including one on Wednesday, which I am incredibly excited about, and I can't wait to share with all of you. But anyway, I know that your time is valuable, and I really appreciate you spending some of it with me. I'll be back next week with another collection of stories, but until then, peace.